Welcome to the Sci-Fi Center, the place to be, where comic books and wrestling collide magically. Movies, TV shows, and pop culture we share. Get ready to rock, we're here to take you there. From superheroes to aliens in outer space, we've got the latest news and reviews in our embrace. Turn on your screen, let the neon lights glow. We'll take you back to the 80s. Let's rock and roll. Sci-Fi Center, where the legends come alive. Get ready to geek out, let your imagination fly. We're diving into the past with a touch of modern flair. Sci-Fi Center, the ultimate pop culture lair.
We have officially reached the end of 1 week and are at the crossroads to yet another. Today is Sunday, August 10th, 2025. It was 109 today in Vegas, so we are nearing the threshold. I'm starting to see football season going on. I'm starting to see the emails come in for fantasy football. I'm starting to see the end of the baseball season, or it's starting to tighten up. School is back in. All these things are leading to one beautiful thing, me getting my hour back that I was robbed back in March. Yes, the joke that is daylight saving is going to be ending any soon. Matter of fact, when is the great day? Because we're going to celebrate that. I don't care what, it's going to be on a Saturday. I promise you I will be on the air when we get our hour back. Hey, Google, when is daylight savings?
Daylight saving time begins on March 8th, 2026,
Ooh.
and ends on November 1st, 2026.
No. 2025, jackass. Hey, Google, when is daylight savings 2025? Hey, Google, when is daylight savings
How can I help you?
2025? Oh, Jesus Christ. $2025. All right, so here we go. November 2nd. Sunday, November 2nd. Save the date. Woohoo! It's right after Halloween, just after Halloween. So, yeah. So my favorite time of the year, which is fall, is almost upon us. Anthony, dude, my goodness. That's like you might as well write a novel, homie. William, hypothetically, if two villains are the Court of Owls and possibly Argos or Checkmate, would that be too much heavy lifting in terms of story? Not necessarily. It depends on if they're coordinating in the story. Like if Court of Owls is in the background operating the other two. But if you were going to have them with three separate missions, maybe. But it depends on how you write the story. Because you can have a backdrop with a villain and then, some subsidiary villains working for them. Like you could have a Ra's al Ghul and you could have other people working for him. So, no, it depends on how good the story is written. William, thoughts on thinking about this lately? I would like to have Billy Lord, Carrie Fisher's daughter in the MCU, and playing Kitty Pryde would be perfect. I have not seen enough of her acting to know if she's qualified for that, but, I'm pretty sure if she would audition. William, is it possible the reason you don't see a lot of tables at Comic-Con most of the time, big publishers are moving to digital? No, they're there. All the major publishers are there. And they're the biggest ones there. So no, Duck, how you doing? Ozzy, what's going on? Happy Sunday, everyone. Please like and subscribe. Yes, we go back to the standard time. Yeah, whatever. Yeah, I just know I get my hour back. How you doing? Got two Aussies in the chat. Are there any daylight savings topics we could cover this year? I don't think there's a movie based on daylight savings. I don't think it's gotten that dramatic yet, but there may be. Shit, there's one based on Groundhog Day I watch every now and then.
You could have just, instead of bothering with all this AI, you could have just had said, "Hey, Brad, Google daylight savings time," and I could have done it in like half the time.
I don't care.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter how I find out. It's the fact that it's coming. We are.
God, I laughed so hard when you said to Google, 2025 Jackass. I don't need to know what
Google. They got rid of Hey Google. It's Hey Gemini now, and I don't like that.
I don't need to know what daylight savings time is next year.
Yeah, 2026. What are you doing?
I don't cross that bridge when we come to it.
Yeah, I'll dude. I'm trying to make it through August 10th. What are you guys trying to say? Yeah, like I said, the theft is almost up, but like I said, it's still really hot here in Las Vegas. But we're nearing the end. August is the last truly blazing month. September is no picnic, but it's not. You're going the other direction. You're on the downward part of the hill. Make a daylight savings time like 1 hour all crime legal. Yeah, no, that's like the purge. I think
the purge from just 1 hour.
It's a horrible idea, dude.
Imagine if like people, instead of having 12 hours, they had 1 hour to get it all out of their system.
Anthony, who is like 90% of the chat right now. Brad, even though we met your fan, I still think that was a robot you created. Nah, she's real enough. And she from Georgia.
What's that?
Where is she from? Is she from Georgia?
She lives in Georgia too. She actually lives right next to the town next to Savannah is Richmond. We got like a kind of a cluster of towns. We got Savannah, Richmond Hill, and Pooler. She but those are a difference of like 2 miles apart with each. So it's like she's over Richmond Hill.
Because I detected an accent. Is that just
she's got a little bit of that. Yeah. So I could get in the car right now and be at her place in like 15 minutes. So
but is she from? Because I know you're a transplant. Yeah, I know you were born there, but you went all over the place, and then you were like you're basically like a transplant.
Yeah, she's from Georgia. Yeah.
Okay. All right.
So, Anthony, I find it so flattering you think that I have the capability to do anything with AI.
Yeah, the dude barely can. Yeah, have you seen the technical issues that he self-inflicts on him on this show? Could you imagine? Yeah, no, I don't see it. I think my mom would figure out AI before Brad did.
Well, okay, let's not go that far. But it's like no,
I'm dead serious, dude. I think my mom could probably. You could probably learn something from my mom, which who's a baby boomer. All right, let's see. Just basically, this is our wrap-up show. I know, Brad, you had some stuff you wanted to bring up that we were not able to cover.
Just kind of want to go a little bit into, a little bit more of the topic on Absolute DC. In the last couple of issues of Superman, this is one of like the bigger changes that they've made into it. They've made Ra's al Ghul is basically Superman's arch nemesis right now in the last 4 issues or so of Absolute Superman, and I am really digging what they're doing with Ra's al Ghul. And what they've done with the villains is just so much fun as what they've done with the heroes, like all these reimaginings they've done. And he's and William of course can speak to this. He's traditionally, of course, Ra's al Ghul. He's leader.
I hate that pronunciation of his name, though. Is that I grew up calling him Ross. I can
go to Ross if you prefer.
I've been to the Middle East, and I've heard it pronounced Roz over there. I don't know, where did Ra's al Ghul come from? Where did that A sound come from? Because I spent most of my time on this planet, and he's been my favorite villain, and it's always been Ra's al Ghul, because it's derivative from Ra.
Yeah.
You don't when you say the god, when you say the Egyptian god, you don't say Ray. Anybody that study Egyptology, do they say Ray? Have you heard people? Because I could be wrong.
Well, for the rest of the show, you want me to keep it at Ra's al Ghul?
I don't never understood, because I thought my logic behind the pronunciation of his name was where he was supposed to have been, all over the world in the Arabian Peninsula, but I don't know.
That's racist. Okay, I'll just shift over to Ra's al Ghul, but Even that's like because I go back and forth like Raish or Raz.
I know it's weird,
But
man.
Ra's al Ghul is like traditionally is he's one of Batman's big villains. The
Best
leader.
Batman villain.
He's the leader of the League of Assassins. He's he uses the Lazarus pits to sustain his life, and he's lived for several centuries. And basically, he wants to wipe out most of humanity because he thinks, okay, we're going to wipe ourselves out or wipe the Earth out. So let's take out the problem early and kind of start a new Garden of Eden. Is kind of his vision for the world. Absolute DC kind of takes that and it turns him into more of like a Lex Luthor kind of villain because he's the CEO of the Lazarus Corporation, which is usurping political power. Kind of behind the scenes is actually it's sort of like almost like a shadow rogue nation, and it also exploits all of its workers, which kind of plays in his connection with Superman. And Superman in Absolute DC, he saw the exploitation that happened on Krypton. He's seen the same thing happen on Earth, so he's become this kind of crusader for the oppressed in Absolute DC, and that's brought him to the conflict the Lazarus Corporation. But Ra's al Ghul, he's got the same goal. He wants to wipe out humanity, start anew. Go ahead.
Okay. All right. Technically, it's pronounced Raish al Ghul, but in Arkham games and motion pictures, it's been Ra's al Ghul. And like I said, when I first heard, in fact, I heard when I went to Comic-Con in, I think it might have been 91, and I met with Norm, I think it was Norm Brayfogle, who was doing Detective Comics, and he had done a Ra's al Ghul. He said Ra's. I didn't hear Raish al Ghul until like literally I got on this show. My collectors call him Raz. I'm like, this is so weird, but I guess it's been pronounced both ways, but you don't hear it. I didn't watch enough of the cartoon to what did they call him in the cartoon?
Yeah, that's a good. I need to pull that up again. Let me see. I think it was Raish. No.
Yeah, because I'm gonna go with Ra's.
Okay.
I'll go. You go watch Stargate. They ain't calling him Hey Ray, and they're calling him Ra's. So, I don't know.
Well, and there have been instances in like the mainline comics where Ra's al Ghul has come into conflict with Superman, but this like takes it to a whole new level where now he's his arch nemesis, with kind of what's been set in motion, and he has the same goal. He wants to start the world anew, wipe out most of humanity, and he kind of sees in Superman now what he traditionally sees in Batman. He sees in him as like the son he never had, but also like with Superman, he sees as this weapon he can he can utilize for his goals. So with Absolute 10, it ends with him capturing Superman, and we're going to see how he's going to try to bring him over to his side. But that's when it comes to, and I was actually talking with Ashley about this earlier today. I just actually started her today on Absolute because she was kind of totally in the dark about that. So I kind of got a kick. I told her, okay, this is how they changed Batman and Wonder Woman and Superman and all different characters. And she told me, oh, they got collect editions out now. I'm going to be taking that plunge very shortly. So I got another Absolute.
I got to talk to her about it because you ain't gonna be able to convince her to get in. That's easy.
No, I trust me.
You need to hear her from a true geek.
Well, but anyway, so that's it just speaks to, I think, like how much the Absolute universe is really, it's just such a new experience with like how the different ways it contorts and modifies and reinvents everybody from the ground up in DC is like every single character is a version of the character you've never seen before. And that extends to the villains, the supporting characters. Everybody in DC is completely fresh and new. And that's, I think, one of the, as far as the villains is concerned, it's one of the best things they've done, I think, in Absolute is making Ra's into Superman's villain now, and kind of putting this new spin on him where he's like this tycoon, and he has this whole different outlook on how he can bring Superman to his side. So I'm really, really digging what they're doing with Ra's al Ghul.
But the power structure, this is the first time I've seen him not at the top of the power structure. That's the thing that's because all this is going to the Joker.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, he works for the Joker, which is weird because
shadows.
Yeah, and he actually this second wave is where he starts to figure out what he's doing and how this all connects, and somehow it's connecting to Wonder Woman because that's what Wonder Woman 15 is going to be about. We need to do, because I've been neglecting you guys when it comes to Absolute. I've been reading them and catching up and getting everything done. But when it first started, I was covering it. I thought I was covering it too much. But now that we're approaching a year.
When we're approaching when they're finally starting to cross characters over.
Yeah, we're approaching a year of this. And so maybe it's time to rededicate some more time to it and go through some of the things that has happened since we were detailing it. Because I was detailing it in the first 4 issues. I was detailing one issue after another. And then there's just too much. Didn't we had 3 other titles come in. We still got to figure out how they factor in, because they all factor in to not only what's going on with each other, but what's going on in the mainline universe, because Darkseid attacks the mainline universe, and that's the Darkseid that created that universe.
Yep.
So,
in fact, I was thinking about this too today, and talk with Ashley. But I meant to her. I was actually going to ask this to you on the show. Aaron says this is yeah. I'm telling you, this is a wild read with what they're doing, and even what William's saying about the Joker. I'm almost getting the sense the Joker when we kind of see where this is all leading, when they start, Absolute Wonder Woman 15, when Batman and Wonder Woman are going to meet. And William, correct me if I'm wrong here, or correct me if you think this isn't like, this might not be where they're going. I almost getting the sense that Joker is going to almost occupy like the Lex Luthor role. Like the role Lex Luthor kind of traditionally fills in the kind of the villain hierarchy.
In a different way, because he seems more methodical and more cold. He's basically he's not as spastic. From what I've seen of the Joker so far, he's a calm and measured. He's not like the ha crazy. He's he's different, and we're gonna find that out. And in that case, because Lex Luthor's demeanor and temperament is a big part of his character. And I think this Joker's the opposite of what he usually is. So I got to wait and see on that one. But I think, I think he's actually going to be more lethal than the Joker. Because if you look at what he has his hands in right now,
yeah,
everything that's going on in Absolute Batman is on him. Everything Arkham, all that stuff, that's him. Jay, everything that's happening and going on in Superman with all those projects leads back to him. And I don't think he has. I haven't seen any connection to Wonder Woman, but there's going to be one, obviously, because they meet. So I'm thinking that it's going to be the Joker that causes the formation of the Justice League, or the return of Darkseid. One of those two things.
Really, those are 2 things that we've never seen that happen before.
No, and like I said, there's a lot. There's a lot going on with these characters, and they've done it. The best thing that they've done is they've made it familiar, but they've made it new. I mean, and this is what I mean about being able to increase your sales by actually telling stories. You don't need. There has not been one new character a major character bought into any of these books. Every one of these characters is a mainstay character that has been around for decades. Everybody that's surrounding Absolute Batman are characters that have been around decades. Every character, for the most part, mainline villain and the biggest threats in all these books have been around for decades. So when somebody says, well, in order to put our heroes in peril and real danger, we have to pull a character out of our ass. No, because Scott Snyder and crew are not doing that. They're literally giving you good stories with characters that have been around. In some cases, like the Joker's been around 80 years. Ra's al Ghul's been around since the 70s, I believe. So we're talking about a 50-year-old character. So we're talking about things that these characters have already, I mean, Hades has been around since comics has been around. He played a major part in the first the mid arc with Wonder Woman, which was one of the better ones, better issues of that series. And Cersei, all these are characters that have all been around. So it just goes to tell you, one of the things that he's showing you is that you don't have to go headline grabbing. You don't have to create some end all be all. You can take what's already there and repackage it and make it important again. And I think it's going to bleed over into the normal universe, but it's definitely going to be, because this is part of the story. So,
well, this is something I was mentioning a minute ago. I was thinking about too, and this kind of relates to Peacemaker season 2 coming up, and the news we got that it's going to establish there are at least 100 coexisting DC realities in the larger multiverse. It's going to be kind of explored in Peacemaker season 2. And one thing I thought about, because we talked about it in the show plenty of times, is that yeah, it's not a case of if, it's a case of when we're going to see an adaptation of Absolute in either live action, animation, or both. And one of the things I thought of, and I'm curious your thoughts on this. Do you think that maybe in Peacemaker season 2, he might like look through like those doorways and like he might like see like Gunn might like put like, oh, this is the Absolute universe. But he's like,
I wouldn't put it. I don't think that's going to happen. But if it happened, I would be pleasantly shocked.
see, and the only thing I think that might, because yeah, I could definitely envision that. But the only thing I think that would maybe like kind of be like a counter argument against that is the fact that Absolute DC is still relatively new. It's still we're just now getting to the crossover. With Christmas Eve of this year is the first crossover. So,
but see, this is where I mean that when we're doing this DC thing, we're not just doing DC movies. We're not just doing DC games. We're sitting down at the table. Scott Snyder's at that table. Jim Lee's at that table. James Gunn is at that table. And everybody else is at that table. So that when we do these things, we slingshot our momentum to one or the other. So what you're saying for me is a natural thing that should be happening. I don't know if it's going to happen, but it's something that really should happen. It shouldn't be like a win or if. It should be a win. Anthony, I have covered these characters. I have covered the main characters of the Absolute Universe. I covered Absolute Wolverine. Now, I'm going to be 100% honest with you, even though I enjoy those books. When it comes to what I'm enjoying personally and what I think is driving the industry personally, it's not even close for me, because Marvel had an absolute ultimate line and they killed it. So they're bringing back something. So they're righting a wrong. DC's never had anything like this. DC has never had anything like this. So to me, it's more of an intrigue than anything. But Anthony, that's something I can really fix.
Well,
we can start talking. We can start talking Ultimate. What do you want to talk about? I brought up the Ultimates. I brought up the Maker. I brought up. We covered Spider-Man ad nauseum when it came out. There hasn't been some of the things that are happening in Ultimates, in my opinion, that are the shift from what the norm is. And but we can talk about it more, dude. That's a problem I can fix. No problem at all.
I would push back slightly on that point where you said, like, as far as DC is concerned, we have, because Marvel's had the Ultimate line and DC's never had anything comparable until Absolute. I actually would argue slightly differently, and I did actually with something that was published today.
If you're saying Earth One, are you saying Earth One?
I'm saying Earth One.
It's not the same, dude.
And not only am I saying Earth One, I'm saying that Absolute is actually basically fulfilling what Earth One could have been.
No, because they're not. Okay, I don't see them as being remotely the same. All Earth One was a slight reimagining. This is a dramatic and they chose not to make, when they did Earth One, they chose not to make that a dramatic reimagining. When they did Absolute, they turned the universe on its head. And Earth One,
that's part of what I'm saying here is that the reimaginings go further than even what Earth One did. There's also there's that factor to it, but there's also the factor of the consistency in terms of the publishing schedule and the fact that this really is something that the company is just placing huge emphasis on. Is like they're pointing their readers and saying that this is, pay attention to this. We're doing crazy new things here that you guys are gonna love, and just in a way they never did with Earth One. With Earth One, we got a new chapter of that every 2 years or so, and with Absolute, these are both like Elseworlds, alternate realities, but DC is DC Comics is they're leaning into Absolute and putting a backing and an emphasis and going much further.
And it's open-ended. It's open-ended.
Yeah,
it's open-ended. So.
And they're doing all that in a way that they just didn't commit to with Earth One, even though I really feel Earth One had the potential to do all this. They're doing all that and to a far greater extent with Absolute. So
I just think the mission was different, but yeah. As far as you want me to cover Absolute Black Panther, okay. We'll cover
Absolute Black Panther.
I'm sorry, Ultimate Black Panther. We covered Ultimate Black Panther, but I don't think the story and some of the Ultimate Black Panther stuff is as good as I think the actual Black Panther comics is better. Personally, that's just me. But I can cover that. I have no problem with covering the I do talk about it, but I do most of my talking about Ultimate in store. But yeah, we can. But I prefer. But remember, this show leans towards my preferences. But unless you guys say otherwise, like when it comes to comic books, we can talk about any comic book you want to. But I prefer the absolute what Absolute DC is doing. So, all right. One of those movies was listen. I'm glad that so many of you enjoyed Weapons. I wish I could have enjoyed it to the level that you did. I'm glad it's making money.
I
I'm
actually
always
saw it again tonight. I
yeah.
dug it enough that I went and gave it a second. I'm liking it more now. I've seen it the second time.
Yeah, I don't have any plans on seeing it again until I pick it apart when it comes on PVOD, if then. However, like I said, I hope some of you guys are right that this is, there's going to be another movie come out that redeems Barbarian and this one for me because, maybe we'll fill in the holes, but I just thought it had too many holes in it. I thought its pacing wasn't good. I thought its nonlinear storyline could have worked if 2/3 of or whatever 2/5 of the characters were useless and not and played no real role. I didn't need them to build up to a moment. I had two tremendous actors that should have anchored the entire movie. And I almost said Jennifer Gardner, not her, not Alias, but Julia Gardner, who is getting better with each time I see her, and then Josh Brolin, who's an all-timer. I needed the majority of that movie to be told from their point of view. And there was just too many things that they brought out. Now, if you're telling me that another movie is coming out, then okay. Now, and if I see, the clown lady again, maybe, or some other possession of them. Otherwise, her story was closed-ended and she's done.
Yeah, pretty graphically, I would say too.
And I won't go into spoilers because I don't feel like putting a spoiler banner up there. But just to be saying, like I said, once certain things start happening in the movie, like halfway through, I'm like, oh shit. I would have rather them spread that out and some of the things that they did. A, add more detail to it, and B, put it closer to the end of the movie so you can actually have an ending to a movie. Because like that's my biggest problem with modern horror. As I said last night, they get too cute. They get to the point where they want to keep me guessing, and I'm like, okay, that's fine. Throughout the movie, you want to keep me guessing, but when those credits roll, I shouldn't still be guessing. All right, I'm a resolution guy. You hear me use that word over the past these years that you've been with us. Resolutions are important to me. Don't give me half baked. Give me the fully cooked. So, and then in these last couple of movies, I've seen, with the exception of Sinners. Sinners is to me how you do a horror movie. Barbarian and Weapons is the antithesis of what Sinners was able to achieve. It's why I love that movie. It's why I think it's the best movie of the year. I wasn't left guessing and wondering. They had some open-ended stuff that they can continue on if they want to, but I wasn't, wow, what was the whole point of that? Or how come this person was here didn't mean shit? The only thing about Sinners that you could make a case for that they bought in and they didn't really do anything was when the Native Americans were chasing Remick. But that was just part of the folklore. You don't have to do another movie to make up for that, but if you did, you could. But it's a complete movie, and if you want to build on that, that's fine. But nothing that Sinners brought to the screen was wasted. There are no wasted characters. There's a lot of characters in Sinners, but none of them were wasted. Weapons had like a quarter of the characters, and he had two people that I was like, you could disappear, movie would be just fine. So glad you all enjoyed it. So yeah, and there's still billions of dollars in debt.
Yeah. Anybody thought that if any one of these movies hit $1 billion, it's like that's just you're not pulling out of debt with even though they are having a pretty good year, it's like there's still a lot of to do.
They could have had $5 billion movies this year, and they would still be
like $40 billion in debt.
Yeah, because once again, they ain't getting all of that money, and you have that.
Well, and even if they are, they still got $40 billion left.
Yeah, I think they got it down now. I think it might be. I got to look at what their debt load is.
Well, it's still in the billions.
I saw that. And it has the super laser, and it has a thing, and it has a compartment in it. Legos are expensive. I never got into Legos when I was a kid. It just wasn't my thing. I was more of a Transformer G.I. Joe guy. But man, them bad boys there. When I went to Comic-Con, now everything at Comic-Con is expensive, but they had some really high end stuff there, and people were waiting in line for those exclusives. But never been so Weapons was a 7 out of 10 for you. I never gave it a rate. I didn't even review it because I just didn't want to do it. I gave it a 5 out of 10 for me.
I'm giving it at least an 8 out of 10. I absolutely love it.
Yeah, that's fine. It's just not that good for me.
That's
There's just
probably
too many
roughly
holes.
where I'd rate Sinners too.
Sinners, I could give a 9.
When they talk about WWE Bob's Brad tagging something on X. Oh yeah, I think I did see this. Let me go back and yeah, it was with Louis Tan, where he thought he was commenting on one of the Warner Brothers having like very successful year, and he says one more coming, and of course that's a reference to Mortal Kombat 2, and yeah, so we can't wait.
Yeah,
This loser next to me doesn't care, but that's his loss.
my life will go on just fine without it. M. Night Shyamalan
No, it would be
Jordan
much better.
Peele. To be honest with you, all 3 of these men have made movies that have pissed me off. I think Jordan Peele tells the better story than the other 2 on here. But once again, all 3 of them have made movies that have pissed me off, and he can't land the endings on some of his movies. So I mean, and Zach Cregger is over 2 for me. The case for me to go see a 3rd movie of his is going to have to be made. The only way I would see another movie of his at this point is if I knew they were going to fill in the holes, if it wasn't in a universe thing, because then I could go get some answers to some of the stuff that I was supposed to have answers to when the movie I paid for Friday. Other than that, I think I'm going to pass on his next movie.
Well, Anthony, how's it going, man? He's his signature endorsement. It was fire.
Yeah, I'm glad you enjoyed it. I was looking for a way out once certain characters started to show up, and once a certain character shows up and pretty much spills the whole plot, I'm like, well, fuck. I still got some popcorn left. I still got a half a pretzel left. What am I going to do now?
You know who else dug it? And I'm going to pull it up right here.
A lot of people dug it.
He's not in the chat, but I'll pull up his reaction. Our good buddy Scott from Squadcast and DC Fanimated. I guess he's coming out of it tonight. He's Scott, if you're watching, how's it going? It's batshit crazy. I liked it. I did too.
Yeah, it reminded me of another movie that I really don't like. And if it's on and I can't find my remote, I will find my remote. The Crazies. I will find a way. I will download an app to shut my TV off if that movie comes up. But I hated that movie. I didn't hate Weapons. I just didn't feel it was kind of. There's a proper term I'm trying to look for because of something I didn't really hate, but it didn't have the points that it had didn't really do anything for me. And like I said, the way they told the story really took me out of it. You can't do that kind of storytelling when 2 of the characters are meaningless. So, and they were meaningless. They were absolutely, you could literally surgically remove those 2 characters from the movie. And,
Naturally,
and they would,
without going to spoilers on the ones William's talking about, I disagree with you there. It's like I think they actually served a function with. I can't go into detail without going into spoilers, but
it's like when you watch those bad murder mysteries or the bad slasher, really, really bad slasher movies, and they're written so poorly that characters literally are seen. They talk to people and then they're never seen again because they got cut out of the movie with no real relevancy. That was those 2 characters.
It was absolutely not those 2 characters. Those guys, no, they had a purpose for this. Again, I can't go into detail without going into spoilers.
I won't spoil it for you, but I found them to be quite useless.
Weapons 2, and I'm sure Zach will make everything. Well, apparently the next thing he's going to be doing is a Resident Evil reboot. So,
once again, I'm done with those movies anyway. Why are you rebooting that to begin with?
Oh, Ashley, by the way, that's something she didn't get to go into last night. She's actually she's a really big Resident Evil fan.
The game or the shitty movies?
The game, the movies, up until the Walk with Raccoon. She like that. The ones Mila Jovovich, she can't stand them.
Those are the 2 main ones, but yeah, it's like a tree falling in the forest with nobody around. That's what a reboot for Resident Evil does for me. It doesn't really matter that he's directing it. I just have no use for that franchise. Let's see. I got your super chat. Oh, Anthony, my God. William, as a person who sells comic, do you think the bigger independent guys are ever going to help the small Kickstarter guys get more? I mean, it depends on who they are. It's not even gatekeeping because it's not these guys all work. They all freelance. Shit, Todd McFarlane has a Kickstarter for a project he's doing. So it's not like they all work together and they're all colleagues. And it all depends on what the project is. But there's no gate. The gatekeeping really is over with. The gatekeeping ended 36 years ago. The gatekeeping ended with Image. When Image was created, and then a lot of those guys broke through the gate, and a lot of those guys who founded those companies are working with all these major companies anyways. Freelancer. Jim Lee literally helped start Image. He runs DC. There are people that go back and forth. It's wherever the opportunity is. So I don't think there's a lot of gatekeeping going on. Not that I see. I think if there's an opportunity to make money, I think, none of these guys are under heavy contracts. So, and Kickstarter, hey, it's a smart way to do things. Even if you're a big wig, it's a smart way to do things. Todd McFarlane has millions somewhere. He used a Kickstarter to get his production and his figures going. So, but as far as getting more eyes in the era of the internet and the era of, before and back in the day where you had to come into a store with the copies that you got printed at Kinko's or something like that to get people to look. Now you just send them a digital link to a sample of your comic, and then you respond to it, and they come in with the book saying, "Hey, you want to sell my book?" So, I don't think that I don't think a lot of that gatekeeping goes on anymore. I did not see 28 Years Later.
I have. I saw it. I thought it was pretty good.
Yeah, I left that franchise 20-something years ago. Let's see. It was definitely insane. I'll give it that. It just didn't really have. There's just too much of it. Didn't have points for me. Let's see. I never liked any Hellraiser movies. They're setting up the Joker to be a more powerful villain in the absolute universe over Dark. No, especially this version of Darkseid. No, you're only seeing it because you have not seen Darkseid in that universe since All In #4 when he merges with the Spectre to create the universe. So you really haven't seen him since, and we got to see what he's going to look like at Comic-Con. So he's going to be in the All In universe. So he's going to pose a threat to both universes. But Joker, no. Joker is not going to pose. Darkseid is literally a god, and now he's arguably way more powerful than he ever is because not only does he have the Omega effect, he has whatever powers the Spectre had.
Let me pull up what he's going to look like for anybody who hasn't seen him. This is Darkseid merged with Spectre, and this is what he will look like now.
He's got the fucking Omega system going on his head. All right, so that's a different one that we were shown.
Oh, you got shown one at Comic-Con this year?
Yeah.
Oh, okay, and that's not public yet?
Well, it is because we were there, but it doesn't look like that. Hold on, let me see if I can find. I think when I bought it up, did I put it on our account here? I think I put it on the account here. Hold on, let's go to profile. Yeah, because he's got the glowing. He looks weird. He's got the glowing Omega system that kind of like when you have the Green Lantern and it's separate from the suit. He's got it above his head.
Oh, so he's got the hologram Omega symbol. I always love that detail in when they brought in the live action is the hologram lantern emblem. That was a nice touch.
I am coming up on it. Wow, I have not taken a lot of pictures since Comic-Con. I usually take way more. I take more goddamn pictures of this fucking popcorn bucket than anything else. Where's that? I didn't upload it here, but because I had the Green Arrow on, or did I just not upload it? But yeah, it looks different from that. But I thought I had it. I'll post it. I'll post it and tag you. But yeah, he's got a whole thing going on to where he's got like you can recognize him, but he looks different. Hold on, I didn't know you were going to bring that up, or else I would have had it ready. Damn it! They still haven't uploaded everything from Comic-Con because there's some cosplay on Comic-Con that I that's ridiculous cosplay. Hold on. Because I took a lot of pictures because that was one of my favorite panels of the entire convention, and just like it was the year before, was the DC All In. I took away, because there's like here he is. Okay, all right, I am going to. I'm going to post it to the Twitter site, and here we go. Yeah, so I should be able to pull this up now. So this might look similar to what you had, but it really, the way they presented them at Comic-Con was a little bit different. Come on. I don't know why. Why do you have an app? Here we go. All right, let's share this right now. Plus, your screen. All right, there's the dark side that they showed us. I don't know how similar that is to what you got there.
Oh, okay. Oh yeah, I did see this floating around too, and
Okay.
yeah, it's
So
got the
that's
fire.
him.
That yeah, as Anthony said, that Omega symbol is fire because it literally is.
Yeah. So I don't know where that picture came from that you have, but this is the one that they presented us.
That looks it makes him look like Darkseid's even bigger than he's usually presented as.
Yeah, like he's massive because
he's gonna be like Godzilla Darkseid now.
But he literally he can traverse other universes, and he's like, he's big. He's like a Galactus level size. Hold on, I'm putting out another post to show you just because they have him on the screen.
So this is shown at Comic-Con this year, okay? Because
this was Comic-Con this year.
Yeah, the one I got, it was an earlier one.
Okay. Yeah, because this is okay, and then a lot of stuff may have changed too between between design wise, story wise, because that's what he was saying at Comic-Con. Certain things have changed, certain designs.
No, that's the Omega symbol. Drogo, that's the Omega symbol right there in flames above his head.
Yeah, I'm just waiting for it to post. I posted it on our Twitter page, but it's taking forever to show. I don't know why it takes so long. But yeah, he's fighting Superman and the version of the Justice League. So here he goes. He may either him or the Joker may. Oh, you see it right there. All right, so that's
and did they say
if you look, you can kind of see
what issue is this going to be in?
This is going to be Justice League Unlimited. Like I think the next 2 months.
Okay,
it's going to be.
So this isn't even in one of the Absolute books.
No, because remember, Absolute DC and All In are the same, the same protagonists. And there are two. What Darkseid did when he merged is he created a new universe, but these universes are parallel to each other.
Yeah, you can transverse them, but this isn't going to be like him popping into like one of the Absolute titles right now. It's going to be Justice League Unlimited.
Wouldn't. Not necessarily. I don't ever, be honest with you, and this is where I am having to broaden my horizons with Ra's al Ghul, is that I've always loved him as just predominantly a Batman villain because of the detective aspect. The mental chess game that they play with each other over the years has been beautiful. I don't think that same mental chess game works on everybody else, but I'm seeing it and I'm observing it, work somewhat with Superman. But this is a different rod. This is a different motivation. I mean, it's basically recognizable, but it's not, It's a different dynamic is what I'm looking for, the word I'm looking for. But no, I wouldn't make it. I mean, obviously he could be he's a handful. As an example, he's one of the smartest men in the world. He's one of the most articulate men in the world. He has a lot. He spent 500 years building up resources and connections and skills. He's the only villain that really can outthink Batman on that level. And conversely, Bruce Wayne is the one that can outthink him. And that's why he enjoys the dance. He has the utmost respect for Bruce Wayne. He doesn't even call him Batman. He calls him Detective. Yeah. Because he respects him and recognizes him as you recognize you're the greatest detective on this planet. And he it's a challenge to him. It's a challenge when he does things. He knows Batman is going to come in and try to stop him. but it's a challenge, and he enjoys that challenge. I don't know how it's going to work out with Superman, but there's a lot of other aspects layered on to him in this time around in this reality. So, but yeah, the mind effing got worse than Martian Manhunter as a no. Martian Manhunter has remained a mindfuck since page 1. And it's starting to come into. We're going to review that, by the way. We're going to review that. We're going to review the Flash.
Tony down.
Yeah, it's a very, like I said, this book reminds me of Shade the Changing Man. It is the one absolute book that reminds me of a Vertigo book. Everything else is borderline. No, Toilet Seat. No, that's Peacemaker. That's next week. By the way, guys, when does Alien does anybody know when Alien Earth premieres? What time of day it premieres? Yeah. Do you know?
I could not tell you offhand.
Because I want to do watch parties on that one.
Yeah, and it's like the same day or the same week as Peacemaker, isn't it? Oh, wait a minute, that's not even like that's like in 2 days it's dropping.
Yeah. Oh, I think is it Monday night at midnight?
It's tomorrow, so it's like it's August 12th. I can't believe I let this slip by me. So,
by the way, guys, if it's tomorrow. But so it'll be midnight.
Yeah, the first 2 episodes will be dropping. Yeah,
I've seen one.
Oh, you see it? Oh, yeah.
I saw that they showed the first one at Comic-Con, and that holidays panel was great on that show. I knew they were going to show us the first episode of that. I was not thinking that they would show us that much of Badlands.
I'm going to Google that real quick. And you've also seen the first 15 minutes of Predator Badlands.
Yeah, which sets the tone for the movie and explains why he looks like that. And people are dogging, oh, it looks like a movie. No. Watch the movie. There's a reason why he looks that way.
Okay, I'm looking this up. Quick. Alien Earth. Okay, I'm reading an article on a Total Film right now. Okay, so Alien Earth episode 1 is available on August 12th, and that's on 5 p.m. Pacific, 8 p.m. East. Okay, so it's going to be actually it's not going to be like tomorrow midnight. I think it's going to be Tuesday at 8 p.m. Eastern.
Okay,
when
so
the first episode is going to be made available, and then episode so the first 2 will be dropping 8 p.m. Eastern on Tuesday.
That sucks. I would have rather had it midnight because I could have got it.
Yeah, that kind of thing. I mean, that's what we're like with the Mandalorian, like season 2. I was like, wait up until midnight every new episode. It's like, it's okay. I'm hitting it right, and because I was writing about it too. That's when I was a Screen Rant.
Yeah.
So
we will be doing a it'll be later on in the evening, so you guys have your option if you want to watch it with us or not. But I will be doing it when I become available later on in the evening. So Tuesday night. Then I was hoping they would do it. I was hoping. Were you not listening? He's giving his opinion. Let you give him again if he wants to.
I said I thought it was good. I thought it was. There's a little goofy for my taste. I kind of classified the version of Superman. It's sort of like Dewey from Scream in a cape, personality wise.
I would not have gone that far.
No,
that's a bit ridiculous.
Watch those 2 back to back and tell me you don't see Dewey.
I don't.
I dare you. I dare you to watch Scream and then watch Superman and tell me you don't see Dewey with a cape.
Nah, I instantly recognize David Cornsweet as a Superman. I think he's recognizable as a Superman on those levels. It's just the tone that James Gunn went with is just not what I'm,
And that's where I get the comparison from, because this version of Superman, he's kind of a dolt. He's kind of a doofus.
I didn't get doofus from him. I got cliche. And that's the thing about it. But this movie wasn't, when people say, well, the movie, I hate when people say movies aren't made for them. No, that's a thing. This movie was not made for the type, for my mind. It was made for everybody who think they have a basic understanding of what Superman is in the periphery, not a detailed understanding for the most part, because there's not many of us out there. There's geeks like me, but they're going for the 97, 98% of people who have that. He's got an S on his chest. He's got a cape. He flies. He saves people. Who does that? That's what this movie was for, and they hit on that. But as far as like being the type of movie that I can be like, okay, not only can I watch this movie, but I can have a thought-provoking, discussion. That's going to be Man of Steel because of the brand of movie that it is. Right? Man of Steel is a science fiction movie. with a science fiction movie that is adapted from a comic book. Superman is just a comic book. And, sometimes, like I said, I've said this before, not everything translates over from the adaptation source to what it goes to. And I thought there were things in Superman that just felt, cartoonish to me. And that's where but even then, I gave it a 7. But the cartoonish element, the cartoonish element will keep it there forever for me. Because
the tone is very Guardians. The tone is
that I didn't feel. I felt more Superman the animated series than I felt Guardians.
I did not get an animated series at all from this movie.
I felt that vibe.
I watched that show religiously. Yeah. This is not Superman animated series tone wise, guys.
Well, that's an opinion. Just like I don't see. I looked at it the other day and I'm like, what kind of comment were you guys sniffing to see Guardians in this? I saw, and I looked. Like I know what kind of comment you're sniffing. That was a rhetorical question, but I love 2 of the 3 Guardians movies, and to me that wouldn't have been necessarily a bad thing had that have been, had to have been part of it. I mean, it's a successful format. I just personally, my opinion, my movie experience, I didn't see that. Some people have. You saw it, but once again, that's what movies are when they're at their best. Everybody, it's a prism. It's a prism. I didn't see that much, if any, Guardian structure in there, and I was looking for it, but Brad sat and saw the same movie and he didn't. I'm pretty sure a lot of you guys in chat, I was looking for that because I'm like, because I don't mind that if something is working for you and you can tailor it and you can adjust it to the point where you can adjust it to different characters, that's not a bad thing for me. I just didn't see it in this. What for me, and when I say Superman the animated series, it's safe. That is the safest version of Superman you're ever going to see moving, other than Max Fleischer. It's a safe, basic. What do you expect if you just had to give some layman off the street? What is Superman to you? That's what this movie is. But for me, I want to see alien shit. I want the villain to be like, fuck. Zod stayed with me after I left the movie for the first time seeing Man of Steel. Lex Luthor didn't stay with me while I was watching him. So there's just a different feel to it. But, like I said, I thought we gave our opinions on that one.
Yeah.
Why did they do Absolute Green Arrow?
That's the next one's coming up. That was announced at Comic-Con.
I don't know because he didn't go into it other than when he showed us the pictures of Absolute, and I showed those to you guys from Comic-Con. But what I do know is from what Scott Snyder said is he's the one that's closest to his actual mainline counterpart than any of the rest of them. So then I'm like, well, why are you doing that? But then again, hey, you know what? Hit the like button. Yeah, hit the like, subscribe, share. Do you think the pocket universes are the connecting storyline in the DCU films? No. I think that they are a tool to use for other DC stories outside of the DCU. I think the DCU itself will be its own contained thing, but every now and then, what I always said before is these things in DC by extension, just like what Scott Snyder's doing with Absolute. When you create diversity like this in a different universe, you are able to tell stories that you would not have been able to tell in your mainline universe while still keeping the cohesion of your mainline universe. So I think these universes will be out there. But once again, I don't have any inside information, Chuck. He could go batshit crazy and we could have a universe a week. I don't know.
And that's why I raised the question, like, is he going to peer through one of those doorways and like one of the 100 alternate realities that he sees, and there is, the Absolute universe?
I would love that. And Batman,
that would be rad. It's like,
yeah, there's no right to this, guys. It's not a battle; it's an opinion. That's Brad's opinion. It's not a law or anything like that. That's an opinion. There's no right. You guys got to get out of these terminologies when it comes to somebody's opinion. You can say I agree with Brad. That's one thing, but it's an opinion. There's no right or wrong here. It's an opinion. I saw it for basically, like I said, I saw it the tone. I saw more for me the tone of the Superman animated series than I saw Guardians. But then it goes off to go goofy thing. But there's also some things that that were never in motion, like JLI. It is heavily influenced by DeMatteis and Giffen's JLI. If you guys haven't read that. If you guys haven't read that streak of comics in the 80s, you may like them, though. You may like them. So
I have not. I've not read JLI, so that's.
I'm gonna tell you this: if you like,
I know of it, but I know details of it, but I haven't read it.
Yeah, if you in any way, shape, or form like the tone of James Gunn's Superman, I think you would like JLI.
I would agree. Yeah.
I hate it. I hate.
You still like the movie?
I still like the movie, but because there were other elements of it out in there, I thought he didn't go too far into it, but give him time because I really do think that's his favorite. If I want to tag him into it, like, what do you feel about JLI? And I think he probably is gonna love it. You can feel that he loved it, and I'm like, oh.
Yeah, you might be one of the lucky ones where he spins the dial like Wheel of Fortune. Like, okay, I'm gonna answer this Twitter question today and blow up the internet.
Because, like I said, as somebody who's been collecting since the early '80s and went through JLI, I hate JLI. However, I didn't think he went too far JLI in this movie to hurt the movie. I could see the potential for him going full blown because he's got all the characters there. He's got Guy Gardner. He's got Metamorpho. He's got Hawkgirl. He's got Max O'Lore. He's basically all I'm missing is fucking Nort and Ice and Fire and Jesus, I just stop.
I'm telling you. Write it down now. One of those like hashtag mind control monkeys. That's going to be your Gleek.
Did the CW show
character popular than it was?
For what level? As far as comic book goes, no.
Well, like Green Arrow, like I mean, he's. Well, I don't know. That's an interesting question. Like where
well, by default, yeah, because there was no other Green Arrow happening. So just by default, yeah. More people knew about Green Arrow, even though nobody was watching that channel. But more people knew about Green Arrow after that show than they did before that show. So yeah.
Well, the like where would you like place him as far as like notoriety and like because so Trinity's like at the very top, and then like the other Justice League characters are kind of like
he's the lower half of the A-list. He's the lower half of the A-list. You have the Trinity, and then you start having
like Flash and Aquaman and Green Lantern.
Next up is Green Lantern. Next up is Aquaman. Next up is Flash, and then Arrow. He is I have always considered those lower half characters. They're lower half of a top tier. They're still up there, but the Trinity drives the stories for me in Justice League.
They're the A- list, maybe is the way to put it.
Exactly. They're when I pick up Justice League, it's for those characters, and when those characters are not in the book, I struggle. But Green Arrow, Mike Grell had an awesome run on Longbow, all that.
Oh, stuff. Yeah, Longbow Hunters. I love Longbow Hunters.
Green Arrow had a very good run, and then Green Lantern and Green Arrow teamed up for a while and had a good run where Speedy was doing drugs. And like, he's a chunky psycho. So yeah, but yeah, I would have to say even if you saw Green Arrow on Arrow and there was nothing else before, then that instantly made it more popular. I don't know how much popular, but
like the only other place live action he had been previously was Smallville, and then animation he'd been on Justice League Unlimited. So between those three, that's probably the I think he was a little bit on Super Friends, I think, too. So yeah, between those three, that's the most like kind of. Well, he's also a character in Injustice too. So like you add all that up, that's the most like non-comics kind of notoriety that he's been given. Is like those are his big adaptations that he's had outside of comics.
Well, Brainiac is. Are you talking about where are we talking about, Chuck? Are we talking about Absolute? Are we talking about the basic comics? What do we? I need a little bit more clarification. Because Brainiac is around, but it's Darkseid's universe. When Darkseid comes to reclaim his energy, he's going to threaten that universe. He's going to threaten that universe exists because of him. So he's got to have something to do with that universe and them forming, and that's going to be Brainiac. Brainiac is there, but I think Darkseid, having been the creator of that universe, he's literally the god of that universe. So when he reaches the Absolute universe, he's going to be probably at his most powerful, even more powerful than he is when he steps in the All universe. But I got to read it.
Oh,
hi, Rhea.
Hey, Rhea. Aaron's got a good one here. What about Cyborgs? Remember, the Justice League is one of the main core members of the league. He's about Green Arrow. He became a Justice League member
with Jeff Johns situation.
With New 52. Yeah. So that's always like, it's really weird to me. It's like the irony of that. It's like that New 52 is what established him, is because prior to that he
jams up.
He via New 52 he's a Justice League member. And then what happened with the Justice League movie? Like, what's the character that gets the most shortchanged? The theatrical cut, Cyborg. So
he's also mostly known by some generations from Doom Patrol. His stint in the Norris was writing was, and then back in that the DC show. Doom Patrol is an excellent show, by the way, guys.
Yeah.
Doom Patrol. I'm glad that show got its time to do what it wanted to do in the way it wanted it to end. Titans, I know there was issues. I understand, and then whatever you say about it is probably true. Titans got 4 years. Titans had no business getting 4 years. I took in everything. I thought this show was going to get canceled after year 1, year 2. No, I got 4 years. You know what I didn't get 4 years of? Mindhunter.
Yeah.
So there's some shows out there that, like I said, Doom Patrol got a full, and these were shows that started on an app and then got folded into
another app,
to another app, which doesn't happen ever. So
yeah. So, but yeah, it was New 52 that made a Cyborg a Justice League member, and then Green Arrow. He's kind of interesting with the Justice League in the sense he's always kind of been a little bit more like a bit like a tertiary member. He's not like a founding member, but he's a little bit on the outskirts, but he's in the club. Maybe is the way to put it.
Yeah, especially in the last 15 years. Prior to him being inserted into the New 52 lineup, no, I wouldn't have said that. But because of the way they restructured the storyline and they pretty much kept that continuity, because like I said, for the majority of Cyborg's existence, he was either in the Doom Patrol or Titans or both, and he wasn't that level of character in most people's eyes.
And I remember like Green, like New 52 when that was starting, like their version of Green Arrow, he actually tried to he reached out to Justice League and asked like, hey, can I join? And like I think it was Flash. He said, it's like, well, we already got a guy who doesn't have powers, so what do we need you for? So they had some fun with that. And they had like a big splash of that, like Green Arrow kind of coming aboard the Justice League in New 52. But yeah, traditionally, again, Cyborg, New 52 was his beginning as a Justice League member, and Green Arrow, he's kind of an on again, off again Justice League member.
All right, do you guys believe the rumor? And I don't know if it's a rumor. I thought they brought that up officially, but I'm not sure. This is probably going to be one of those projects where I kind of distance myself from, along with Brave and Bold, until I actually start seeing pre-production stuff, because I'm not a big. It's I just need to get a feel for what kind of universe this is going to be. And I want to see, because obviously I'll get a glimpse of what kind of Nightwing we're talking about. Is it going to be using Nightwing, or is it going to be using is it going to be the Tim Drake led one? Is it going to be like Titans Go? Is it going to be? So I don't know where. Before I even move my brain in that direction, I want to see what's going to be the influences of this before I go into it. I could enjoy it, but it's like I'm taking a very cautious approach to the rest of the stuff. I got past Superman because I wanted to get to Lanterns. There was no way around it. Ended up enjoying Superman to a certain point, but now it's to the point where I'm zeroed in on early 2026 to see when we what's going to come of Lanterns. If the people who they've assembled to do this show do what I've always seen them do, then I there's just no way I'm gonna now. Yeah, Damon Lindelof could give me the last 2 seasons of Lost. However, it's more than likely he's going to give me all of Watchmen or Leftovers. If you guys haven't watched Leftovers, you want to mind fuck. This is one of the few things that where you didn't give me the explanation I think I needed, but you gave me enough. By the time I was done with Nora's story at the end of Leftovers, I pretty much figured out who I needed to believe. They tried to leave it ambiguous, but I'm like, okay, there's the bullshit meter is on here, and then the truth meter is here. So if you guys haven't seen Leftovers, give that a shot before you give Lanterns a shot. I would say personally, avoid Lost. If you want to see the Lindelof style, if you haven't watched HBO's Watchmen from 2019, that regardless, you need to watch that immediately. That is a great miniseries, one of the best miniseries I've seen, one of the best motion superhero things I've seen in a long time. So, and the fact that he kind of, well, I don't need a season 2 because I don't have any more. I'm like, dude, there's so much to say in a season 2. Fine. What are my thoughts on a hit theatrical film skipping physical media? Barbarian fans are still campaigning. There's just no money in it. Certain movies just don't have any money in it. Like Barbarian.
Barbarian hasn't gotten
I
a
don't
physical
think
media
so.
release.
Nah. No, Max would
I
Max and
wonder
Ray
why
would have
then.
had it. Yeah. Certain
Oh, yeah.
movies just aren't worth the production costs. I mean, you know, it doesn't take that much to make a DVD or a Blu-ray, but when now you're talking about distributing, is what you get back from some of these smaller movies going to be worth what you put into the production of them? Whereas, you know, Superman, you know, Batman, things like that, just the packaging alone and the recognition of that alone would get you, you know, to the threshold of, okay, it's worth it. But for a lot of these movies that didn't really make that big an impact, like, yeah, we saw Barbarian, but did enough Joanna averages see it to the point where they would recognize that package in a wherever it's still selling physical media. Whereas Superman, slap the S on it, it's gonna move. Thor, make a hammer, it's gonna move. Captain America, the shield is gonna move. These are things that are recognizable in mass, where I don't think certain movies like that are going to be. So not every movie is going to get a physical release. I hope that changes though. You met movies for Brainiac? Yeah, been waiting all my life. And Brainiac is, to me, be honest with you, the only thing I would have changed about Batman versus Superman. I would absolutely have not had Doomsday in there. Brainiac would have been a better villain, and his connection to the Krypton and his pursuit of Kryptonian technology and Lex, that would have been a better fit. And Brainiac is very capable of ending Superman's life in a multitude of ways. So, yeah, I mean, we haven't gotten them. I mean, the closest I've gotten to a decent Brainiac was the one that was on Krypton, which was an underrated show, but it was way too expensive to make. And Sci-Fi Channel was abandoning themselves at the time that show was getting made. And by the way, that Lobo on that shows a horrendous, but
Hey, you know, Jason Momoa, you know.
That's going to be an improvement.
Yeah.
That's going to be a massive improvement because, like I said, that's one of that last season of Krypton where they got.
When are we going to get that set? When are we going to get that set? The first set photo of him in the full, because he's already. Well, they're done.
It's done. It's done. It's in post production.
So yeah, when are we going to get that first look at him as a Lobo?
Couple months, maybe at New York Comic Con. I don't know.
Yeah, I can see it happening there.
I'm still debating on whether I even want to attempt that, but I think that's going to be a no-brainer, no go for me to go to New York. I know I'm going to WonderCon in March. By the way,
you're talking about this year for New York?
Yeah, because it's in October and that's a big month for the center, so I might have to pass on that. I do. I mean, and it's a big deal, but WonderCon I'm definitely going to this year. If you want to go, it's in March, so you have time to plan.
We got the confirmation for that.
Yeah, I'm in.
So.
I see it every time I sign into my Comic-Con thing. WonderCon only.
Yeah, did we ask for that? Well, we got it. So,
but now that I know I have, as long as Trauma is around, I got an end to Comic-Con. I'm not even going to apply for press this year for Comic-Con. I know I'm going to be able to get in. So, both Titans and Doom Patrol was on the app that people outside the U.S. couldn't access. Yeah, that was
yeah. Stupid. Yeah, there was some. Well, again, it's like look at who was running Warner Brothers at the time, and they just couldn't tell their ass from a hole in the ground.
And even a good idea because that app, because you can get DC Infinite. The app that's out now, I think it's DC something, DC Infinite or whatever. That app
that had movies, comics, TV. Yeah,
it had all the Batman. It had all the movies. It had all the definitions of the characters, and then it had Titans. Titan was their main show. Then it had Swamp Thing. Then it had Doom Patrol. Doom Patrol, and like I said, I still to this day cannot believe that both Doom Patrol and Doom Patrol had some high ends. Brendan Fraser was in, and Timothy Dalton was in Doom Patrol. Yeah. These weren't low end shows.
And that was Brendan Fraser like pre comeback.
Yeah, that was before his Academy Award, but he did a great job in it. And then you had that Cyborg in there, and that Cyborg was a different Cyborg than the one that was in Zack Snyder, Ray Fisher one. But it was the one that was closer, dude. Whoever did that show knew how you were supposed to feel when you watched Doom Patrol. And Titans was just a mess, but it was fun. Titan was more bullshit than not, and they did stupid shit, and then they just made it look cool. But you knew you knew when you were getting to the end of the season, like, okay, this is gonna get stupid real quick, and then I gotta wait till next year if there's a next year. Like when they killed Donald that way, I'm like, okay, this show's done. Nope, they got
Yeah,
2 more seasons. 2 more seasons, and their Deathstroke,
yeah,
Isan Morales
that
was a really cool Deathstroke.
yeah, but her death was like everybody was like,
Oh,
oh
the
no,
pole! You survived. You survived all of these. And by the way,
you're a demigoddess for God's sakes.
yeah, and you get killed by a pole and some electricity, and I'm like, what the fuck? And then we see Wonder Woman 84 with the same type of pole, and 90-year-old Linda Evans is like, I'm good. I'm used to this.
Syria.
Like, yeah, that I hated that movie. And it was outside America. Yeah. They did not make. And HBO Max was the same way. HBO Max was the same way. They did not make themselves. Well, yeah, and then they came over to HBO Max. Good.
Well, and then for a while it wasn't even HBO Max.
Yeah, it was Go or whatever. What the fuck?
And Wonder Woman, going back to Wonder Woman 84 real quick, is like what I'll say. One thing I'll say for one compliment I'll pay is like the ending when Maxwell Lord is like amassing like all his power with all the wishes, and Wonder Woman lassos him and tries to talk about it, and they play Beautiful Lie, which I think Patty Jenkins said that was originally temp music they had for that, and they decided to actually keep it in there. That's actually I really like that ending. That was pretty good use of A Beautiful Lie, I thought. So I will credit it. That scene is actually really, really good.
I had given up on that movie by the time we got to the ending. So I remember watching it on Christmas Day. I had a viewing party with that on Christmas Day, and we were just like, ugh. Barbarian was Krager's breakout film. I'm shocked. For a low budget type of movie like that, that I'm used to seeing, I didn't have a problem with it, and I was on board until, like I said, I think around the last 12 minutes, it's like, this is a waste of my time. And once again, if you don't land the plane, the journey doesn't mean shit to me. Like I said, if I'm on an Airbus, if I'm on an airplane, great, wonderful that you got the plane up in the air. Wow, the in-flight food was great, but we got to land the plane in order to complete the mission here. Otherwise, all that's meaningless. And there's just too much horror out there that just wants me to imagine the ending that I paid them to give me, and I'm just not in there for that. So. Compared to what has gotten physical media, yeah, and the decision process for physical media, I would like to be a fly on that wall, because some things that get it, and you're like, well, what the fuck? If physical media is dying, why didn't this should have died at the concept phase? But there you go. Did you guys talk about money that weapons made briefly? Yeah, 40 million here, 70 million.
Pretty awesome start.
Yeah,
they're definitely gonna. They're happy with the start, and they're gonna get some money out of it.
Yeah, like I said, I'm happy for you, you guys who loved it. It just wasn't for me, and I'm done with that director for right now. I'm gonna have to see another. The third movie is gonna have to bind them together for me. But if it's just another genre movie like this, I 2 movies is enough for me to that. Like I said, Weapons wasn't awful, but it was, for me to take time out of my day to go down and see a movie on a Friday afternoon, I needed it to be better than what it was. I needed it to be more complete than what it was. And it just wasn't. I would give it a 5 out of 10. That's not bad. That's not great. That's just how I felt watching the movie. I felt like I was right in the middle somewhere. Also, do you think adding 2 separate Batman, like the Batman Part 2 and Brave and the Bold, will... What? Okay, you redid it there. No, I've said this before, and even James Gunn answered this. We're not stupid. Comic book fans and comic movies fans do and say really stupid shit. But we're not stupid enough not to figure this out. And even if we were, guess what? You got people that get paid millions on top of millions on top of millions of dollars to lay it out for us. Like I always say, if you get confused with things like this, your storyteller's a fucking moron. And none of these people are morons. So I think you could have as many as you need as long as they are good, and as long as the storyteller is doing their job and articulating the differences between one and another. And then the fans, like I said, we fans are not stupid. We're not that dumb to get confused. I think people confuse themselves before they even know what the topic is, just because, I don't know if I'm going to be able to figure that out. No, it's fine, dude. It's fine. You could train dogs. You could train pets to figure these things out. I know humans are much smarter than that. How you doing, Diego Soto? Long time no see, Fly. Let's see. Freaker Friday broke even. Yeah, there you go. That had I know a lot of people who really love that first one. I have not seen it. In fact, I don't think I've seen one movie with Lindsay Lohan in it. So there you go.
Not even the one that made Fetch happen.
No, I didn't even know what the fuck that saying meant until I Googled it. Poohverse is moving right along. Barbarian. I'm afraid to see what that hell that would be. In fact, I don't even want to know what that would be, given what the movie was. Winnie the Pooh, Honey War. Don't give him ideas. I think Brainiac is the ancient evil in Lanterns that has a face reveal, and Supergirl and cameo setting up Justice. That would be amazing. I would go for that. Nah. Like I said, it's you're never the best movies in the world. I still got people that say Blade Runner is boring, and I want those people jettisoned into the atmosphere. But you know what? It's your opinion. I got people that say Godfather it's not a classic, and I'm like, okay. But from their point of view, and then I also have people just look at Star Wars. Just look at the Star Wars fandom. You got people that don't regard the original trilogy like the people who grew up with it. Some of these people are watching episode 1, 2, 3, and then they get to episode 4. So you have two different opinions based on two different perspectives. So you always hear people talking shit about the prequel trilogy. I know people who love the prequel trilogy because those are their first 3 Star Wars movies. If you're telling them episode 4 and there's an episode 1, 2, and 3, they're going to go see that. And then by the time they get to episode 4, they're going to have a different perspective on these things. So yeah, it's all subjective. It's all, if you're doing it right, you're probably going to piss off half the people. I think there's just 2, but don't quote me because I have not seen either.
And about like Lindsay Lohan and Jamie Lee Curtis ones. There have been the previous versions. Yeah, these two of them.
Gunn said he can't use Static Shock yet because of legal reasons. Would you like to see Static in the DCU? I'd have to slow down on that because there's a lot of characters in the DCU already. So I don't know. Let's see, Fourth enjoyed it. Did you like Sinners, Fourth? I wasn't sure. I know you joke around, but I didn't know.
I think Fourth actually, he might be fourth thing, but I think he's actually a little bit more disparaging of Sinners.
Yeah, like I said. Go ahead.
Well, when do you want to do the watch party for that?
When does it hit streaming? Is it on streaming already?
It's on HBO Max. It's been on there for a couple weeks.
Oh fuck!
Yeah, we just been backed up on these other ones we've been doing.
Yeah, no. I gotta get with Perp tomorrow to do his because I'm available tomorrow.
Oh, what's he doing for
Hotel? He wants to do Hotel Hotel Paradise, which is the whole.
Oh yeah, you mentioned that. In the comments.
He paid that. So I got to figure out when to do Sinners, but we got to do Sinners. We got to do Sinners. We got to do Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind because I have not shown you guys Jim Carrey's best movie. I've shown you all the other ones.
When I was talking to Ashley because she really enjoyed Sinners too, and Mike did also. So I was asking them if they want to come aboard. You guys might need Mike for that. No, this Saturday would not be good for her, but let me know what what the time frame is, and I'll see if they can come aboard for that.
I'm going to come to Savannah, Georgia. I'm going to find you, and I'm going to take that computer, and I'm going to dismantle it so that you can't use the one that gives us the static. I'm going to take the keyboard. Where's Murphy at? Can't Murphy eat it? No, you need to be on your tower though. That did not have the static, right?
I'm just typing stuff in them before I came on the show. It's like on my PC.
But like I said, I cannot believe I have a laptop and a table, and I got them both up. I can't believe we would.
It was just the one I was using at the time before I came on. That made it this easiest to pull up StreamYard, just hop on the show.
Yeah, it's like that static shit. Audience, can you still hear the static? Because I know that sometimes we couldn't, sometimes we could. Yeah, you didn't really like Sinners. Like I said, to me, Sinners was the perfect horror movie, the perfect story. It was, I loved the way it was written. No wasted characters. There was some non-linear storytelling, but it made sense with the story. It wasn't just giving me the point of view of every Tom, Dick, and Harry in the movie. Some of the Toms and the Dicks didn't need to be in the movie. There was nobody in Sinners that did not need to be there. I can't say that about Weapons. So, but yeah, I think Sinners is the best. But once again, subjective, I don't think it's overrated. I don't think so. In fact, I think Sinners needs to get a re-release and get Oscar consideration. Yeah, Paradise Motel.
I would not be surprised if they do that for Sinners, leading into Oscar season.
Yeah. What are we doing?
Wait,
Brad would probably go to a gay club as William, take a picture and post it online. Where did this start?
What the hell are you talking about, dude?
Did I miss something?
Yeah, this came out of nowhere.
Anyway.
First of all, how would it?
Why would he need to go to a gay club?
Not only that, like be impersonating William. I don't know if you guys have noticed, but there's at least one glaring difference between us.
There's a slight pigment detail that I just can't get over. So all right, with two.
Hi, I'm William Powell, owner of the Sci-Fi Center. It's like it's totally me.
Yeah. Survivor Series, Rumble, and Money in the Bank. Should there only be? I'm not a big fan of these 2-night events, guys. I'm not. Eventually, the greed that is TKO wants everything to be. They're going to do another WrestleMania in Saudi Arabia. They're thinking about doing that. I'm like, are you fucking kidding me, dude? Now you're going to water down the thing that makes you special. And, I don't know. Let's see. Well, see, the vampire stuff is a backdrop. That movie is about family. That movie is about, racism. That movie is about freedom. That movie is about a lot of things. And there's some vampires in it. But the vampires are done, in my opinion, masterfully. I think Remick is like the villain of, like, I am your way out. And then he gives the best case to give in to vampirism that I've ever heard. No romance. Just, hey, you're being treated like shit here. Come join me and my family, and we'll live forever. We won't be able to go in the sunlight or anything like that. But, just a Freaky Friday comment. Okay.
Yeah, I think I said this on here previously. His pitch to them about like join the vampire family that we're building. It's very easy to envision yourself being sold on what he's saying. It's like, yeah, they're living in the era of Jim Crow. They're living in the Deep South. They got a Klansman like ready to come and like take them out. He set them up for exactly that. It's like, yeah, just one bite. It's like all your problems go away.
It's going to be after 4 because he said it needs to be after 7 p.m. Eastern time. So he's in Florida. So.
I think I'm going to be in this school, so I'm unfortunately not going to be able to make that one. We're in a public domain.
Has there been a public domain movie about Sherlock Holmes versus Dracula? I don't think so. I think
like the Asylum would do.
Well, I think at that point, there's only one public domain actual Dracula movie, and that's Nosferatu. Everything else is still under Universal. I don't think any of them. I don't think any of those. I think they renewed the licenses of those. I think all the Dracula movies, especially the Bela Lugosi ones. But after Nosferatu, I think they tightened up a lot of the vampire stuff on that one. Well, that's been done. That's been done. All right, guys, we are. Yeah, but you're not going to see the same thing. You're not going to see what you think you're going to see.
As a certain journalist who annoys a lot of us pointed out, it's like, it would be if it's public domain, they would like have them. They couldn't use like the emblems. I think maybe is like.
Well, they can't even fly. They can't fly.
So it would have to be like, okay, he comes from another planet and he has powers, and like that's like and they can like say, okay, wow, you're really Superman, and that's like about the extent of it they could take with like a version of Superman they would do under public domain.
But yeah, I don't see that being a major issue because Superman is so established. There's already been things. I mean, you've already had parodies of
It
him.
could be something like a little bit like Brightburn, actually. It's like because that's a a horror movie riff on Superman, but it's not officially Superman. So public domain, you could do something like that, like Superman, Batman, those characters.
And a lot of people, to be honest with you, won't even accept it, even if they did it. I don't know if the audience will be there. But Poop, Blood, and Honey, it's different. But when you're talking about, Superman, there's just a certain expectation. A lot of people can't get over when it comes to Superman. So, all right, guys, that's where we're going to leave it off. I will be on the air a couple times tomorrow. One of them to do this awful movie that Perp donated for, and then we'll do our normal show.
Send my greetings because I'm just not gonna be able to make it that time, but definitely I'll check out that stream once I'm back home.
Weapons director pitched his DC movie called Interest.
Yeah, I saw that. He's got like a script for that, but it's not like and it's it'd be something like what The Trench was imagined as, where it's like it's focusing on like tertiary.
You mean it never happens?
But it's focused on tertiary characters, in this case henchmen, and again he's written this, but he hasn't pitched it yet. But it's not like a concept for a DC, and it kind of fits probably like what William's talking about, where it's not every filmmaker is going to want to like work in like just one defined sandbox like this cinematic universe for building. So that's why you have something like Elseworlds, where it's like, okay, you could have somebody who's gotten a lot of acclaim, like a Zach Kregler, and say it's like, hey, I got this kind of off the wall thing I'm going to do, and Elseworlds is perfect for that. Yeah,
I'm going to take a break from his movies for a while until I'm maybe I'll come back to him, but right now I just don't. I've seen two movies, and I'm just not feeling that that's an event type of thing. Now I might watch them on PVOD, something like that. This is where I should have watched Weapons. I should have watched Weapons on PVOD. I don't think I would have been as aggravated. But, like I said, you go out, get the pretzel, get the soda, get popcorn, sit back, recline. You're here to see an event, and I just didn't get that feeling for this movie. But like I said, I am happy that horror is still doing well. It's still is the strongest, most viable. I'm not going to like all the horror that comes out. It's just not going to be for me, and that's fine. Other people are making horror that is for me. And then, like I said, in the same year that we get this movie, I got Sinners. So it's like there's something out there for me. It's just this just wasn't it. But like I said, glad you guys had a good time with it. And I will see you guys at some point. Now 12:01 a.m. I will see some guys later on today. That's it. Please like, subscribe, and try to have a good Monday if there's such a thing.
See you guys.